Hey there, chess enjoyers! Today we will together continue to explore the exciting chess world, or to be more specific, the French defense. In this video I will show and explain you the main line of it, plus also other very popular sidelines. The French defense occurs after pawns e4 and e6, on which in most of the cases the game goes on with d4 and d5 with a setup like this after two moves. The French opening has a reputation for solidity and resilience, although some lines, such as for example the Wiener variation or also other variations, can lead to sharp complications on the chessboard. But how does White continue the game in this situation, in this position on the chessboard? In this position, White has exactly 4 popular lines between which they can choose here. We have knight to c3 with the main line, we have the advanced variation with pawn e5, we also have the Tarrasch that occurs after knight d2, but of course also the exchange variation in the center of the chessboard, where yes, how the name already teases, we exchange pawns like capturing here and then capturing back afterwards. But let's at first take a look at the main line, which occurs after knight to c3. So for black, the classical answer here in classical continuation would be to develop their knight on f6 too, and yes, now we're having really a lot of pressure and tension in the center of the chessboard, where a fight can collapse in the nearest future. To add even more pressure to the situation, White could in this position play bishop g5, pinning the black knight on f6 to its queen. But if you want to play something else with black, instead of just answering with the main line with knight to f6, you can for example play the aggressive move bishop b4 with the so-called Wiener variation, about which I have already teased you a bit to be pretty interesting and complicated. The game could now go on with pawn e5, moving the pawn out of danger. Now for example pawn c5, pawn a3, bishop captures knight on c3, b pawn from b2 captures back the light chess piece, and so on and so on. Now let's continue with the next line of the French defense that I would like to show you in this video, which is the advanced variation that occurs after pawn to e5. So now we can see White gains some space advantage immediately here in the center of the chessboard and prevents black from developing their knight here in g8 pretty normally to already a natural square, which would be f6. So black cannot do that immediately. And because black's position is often and somewhat cramped up here in the advanced variation of the French defense, they usually decide to undermine White's pawn chain here, which is d4 and e5. And they can do this by playing pawn c5. White's most played and common response is just pawn c3, on which black often plays or develops their knight on c6. White can here overreact a bit and overprotect their pawn chain here in the center of the chessboard by playing knight to f3. And here black has many different lines and many different options between which they can choose. For example, the main line or the main continuation would be just queen b6, but they could also try different and interesting lines, like for example the U variation that occurs after bishop to d7 like this. Before in this video, I've already introduced you to the interesting Wiener variation after knight to c3 and aggressively bishop to b4 like this. If you are playing the white chess pieces here in the French defense and you want to prevent your opponent from playing this very complicated line, then you can play another one. And instead of developing your knight from b1 on c3 with the main line of the French defense, you can play the Tarrasch variation by developing it like this on d2. This move may lead to slower development of White's chess pieces, but this move is still pretty solid and leads to games of more positional nature than its main line that goes after knight to c3. So yes, here like this you play knight to d2 in the Tarrasch variation, and here again black can strike with pawn to c5 immediately, trying, and yes, with intention, for equality on the game board. But now let's continue with the fourth and already the last line and popular line of the French defense that I wanted to show you in this video. And this is, how I've already said in the beginning of this video, the exchange variation of the French defense, where, how the name already says, we are trading pawns in the center of the chessboard like this as our third move of the game. So now we have a symmetrical setup after 3 moves, where the position looks exactly like this. And here, this variation has the reputation, let's say reputation, to be pretty drawish, but still both players, black and white, have found in the history of chess options and ways to unbalance the game. White in this position can, for example, do this by playing pawn to c4. And even though they are risking here and taking into consideration that they're probably going to play with an isolated d-pawn, they are still gaining space like this, choosing to play pawn to c4. But the main approach, or the main approaches, are definitely moves like, for example, bishop to e3, also knight to f3, bishop to d3, so moves where we develop our light chess pieces to the third rank of the chessboard, on which black often answers with the symmetrical move again, which is bishop to d6. So this was an audio in this video in which I have shown you the 4 most popular lines of the French defense in a short summary. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, leave a like and write down there in the comments about which other chess topics and chess themes you want to have a brand new video on this channel. Till next time, bye!